That's a bad signal. That's your... Oh, sorry. That's your signal. That means we have to go now.
Yeah, that's what that means.
Hello everyone, it's Chris Fitzgerald again, and welcome to another one of my movie reviews. And today I'm going to be reviewing Justice League, the highly anticipated comic book film that comic book fans have been waiting for a long time to see, and for good reason, because Justice League, way more so than the Avengers, is the iconic comic book team that people have known just for years and just wanted to see a movie done about them and done right. And obviously the whole DC extended universe has sort of been building up to this ever since they gave us Man of Steel, and obviously really with Batman versus Superman last year, all coming towards this, all 5 movies. And for me, I wasn't really sure what to expect from this movie. I thought the marketing for this movie was sort of a mixed bag. The trailers, they showed some promise, but ultimately still wasn't quite sure what to make of the movie. And really, the buzz coming from the movie was decidedly mixed. Obviously, lots of DC fanboys found enjoyment from the movie, but obviously a lot of critics sort of went, not so sure about this, so wasn't really sure what to expect from this one. And just from my perspective, from the DC extended universe, what I think of the films, for me personally, not the biggest fan of them overall. Just a quick rundown. I thought Man of Steel was okay. I thought it was really good in the beginning. The second act was kind of iffy. I thought Batman versus Superman and Suicide Squad were uh, both really disappointing for very different reasons. But like most other people, I thought Wonder Woman was quite good. So not biased towards DC films at all in terms of hate. I was open to seeing a really good movie. And from my perspective, I gotta be honest, even though, like I said, the reception for this movie was quite mixed, maybe leaning a little more to the negative side, I thought this movie overall was okay. More so on the kind of enjoyable side. There were some elements that sort of pushed it forward to me to where I could enjoy it as someone who, like I said, not the biggest fan of these previous DC films overall. I thought this one had some elements that did make it work in a pretty good fashion. Mainly because what this movie is, it's a team up movie. And for a team up movie, the movie has to deliver on a certain aspect. And what that means is that it's got to deliver on the whole team coming together thing. It's got to deliver on that. That's the main thing that a Justice League movie has to get right. It's got to get the team aspect. And I thought when it came to that and the characters, the main characters of the team, I thought it was done pretty well. Once again, Batman and Wonder Woman are the best characters in this group. For one, I've bought into the hype. I do think that the Batfleck, Ben Affleck's incarnation of Batman, is really the best overall on-screen Batman we've had in terms of the look, the voice, his portrayal of Bruce Wayne, the way he acts, the costume. It's really top notch. I just wish that he was in better movies. Hopefully, he can get a good run in his standalone movie. But he was great again, and Wonder Woman. I mean, obviously, to my surprise, Gal Gadot is a really good Wonder Woman, and I really like this character, man. Just the way she acts, how composed she is, yet she's still trying to discover herself, who she is, and we see that in this movie, her whole journey to trying to become a leader and become more attached to the world. That was done really well. So those two, once again, like as they were in Batman versus Superman, those two are the best characters. And in terms of the rest of the team, the characters who we were briefly teased to in Batman versus Superman, they were actually all quite good. The Flash, I thought, was really entertaining. I mean, from the trailers, I was sort of afraid that this guy was going to be pretty annoying, but he works well. He's definitely the biggest comedic element of the movie, and I didn't think his stuff felt all that forced. I thought it was all overall pretty funny. I really enjoyed this Flash. Thought he was a nice mix to the team. He's sort of the one who's really the kid of the group, so he was quite well. Aquaman, even though he's really nothing like the Aquaman that we've seen previously, he's more like Water Thor. I thought he was pretty good. I thought like, hey, you know what? Maybe this is a good sort of dynamic to go with this character. And for what they went with in this incarnation, I thought it worked pretty good. And Cyborg, didn't have much expectations for him, but he had a bit more character and was more. I felt more for him than I thought I would. So overall, the team was done pretty well. You're not going to get major character development out of a movie like this, but if you can give each character their moments, their time to shine, get us to really, I don't know, just enjoy them. I don't know how else to put it. Then that works pretty well. And as for Superman, obviously he's not been a big part of the marketing for this movie. I'm not going to spoil how much of a presence he has in it. But overall, I thought he was used a lot better than I thought he would. I thought that this actually, even though I'm not the biggest fan of this portrayal of Superman in these movies, I thought in this movie it was actually he was better and used better than I thought he would. So overall, the team aspect worked very very well in this movie. And one other thing that really helped was sort of the tone they went with in this movie. If you compare this movie to Batman versus Superman, it is just the polar opposite, really, in terms of tone and feel. Just because that movie had a really sort of brooding, dark atmosphere, and combined with the long running time and sort of terrible plot they went with for that movie, and it really made that movie a bore. This movie is really sort of light and fun in tone, and that really helps. It makes the movie a much more entertaining, enjoyable watch. And I think Joss Whedon, he had a role in this movie. He sort of took over for sort of the post production for this movie after Zack Snyder, because of a family incident, was made unavailable. I thought his comedic touch to the movie ended up making the movie actually pretty entertaining and really a real good crowd pleaser. There's lots of really nice crowd pleasing moments in terms of humor that work really well, especially coming from the Flash. But everyone has some really nice quips, including like even surprising stuff from Batman, and obviously good stuff from Aquaman, and just really good use. Well, I won't say great use of humor, but the humor that was there, I thought was done pretty well. Not overbearing, but like I said, just nice touches here and there, even during action scenes. I thought works quite well. So good on Joss Whedon for that. So you get some good character interaction, some good team dynamics, and get some good humor in your team up movie. So you must be thinking, okay, so what exactly? We've got a great movie here. What exactly went wrong? Well, I can tell you exactly what went wrong, and it's really unfortunate, but it's a problem a lot of movies have, especially sort of big budget movies, and that is the problems here: the villain, plot, and development. I'll hit those all in order. But let's talk about the villain, Steppenwolf. I mean, really, he's just another crappy MCU villain. Even though Marvel movies are really quite good for the most part, they have a problem with their villains. Sometimes their villains are a little on the wank side, and Steppenwolf in this movie is just another one of those. I mean, he just comes in, and it's another random, I'm gonna take over the world scheme. I'm a dude covered in some CGI. I'm gonna find some boxes and let's just take over shit. And that's all he is, man. There's just nothing to that character. You really don't even hate him. You don't find him entertaining. He's just there. He's just some dude for the team to punch, and that's it. You could not give a shit less about this character at all. So I'm not going to call him the worst comic book villain of all time just because there's nothing overly terrible about him except maybe his development. But is he a good villain? No, hell no, he's not a good villain. So that ends up leading to the whole main conflict of the movie being underwhelming. And in terms of the main plot, like I said, the whole thing was Steppenwolf. I mean, it's a reason for the team to come together, which is the main thing you want to see in the movie. But you want to have a good villain plot, something to really attach yourself throughout the movie. And you just don't get that with this movie at all with the plot. The thing that's holding you through is finally seeing the Justice League come together and having some good interactions. In terms of the plot, I mean, the dude, he's coming down to take over shit. And it's as generic can be. So that's really, really unfortunate. And in terms of the final thing I mentioned, the development, just not a whole lot of development to the story. This is really a random plot that really just came out of nowhere. In terms of when you compare it to what the MCU has done with Thanos, they've really built up the whole conflict with the Infinity Stones going across a whole bunch of movies. And in this movie, all of this stuff just sort of randomly comes together in terms of this big take over the world plot that's just like, all right, whatever, man. So that whole stuff, man, the plot, villain, and development, not the movie's strong suit in the slightest, and really, really what holds this movie back. And I'll say that everything that involves Steppenwolf in this movie, first of all, it's a stupid ass name to begin with, but everything that involves him in this movie is easily the worst part of this movie, including a really sort of bad sequence that takes place on Wonder Woman's home world. I thought that was actually sort of the worst part of this movie. So like I said, everything involving Steppenwolf, not all that good. And something that worried me about this movie going in was the runtime. Normally, you have complaints that, ooh, this movie, it looks a little bit too much on the long side. This movie, honestly, it's too short. It's an hour and 59 minutes, including credits, which for a big movie like this, a Justice League movie, that is really, really short. You would think something like that, maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes or something like that, that'd be a good runtime, but under 2 hours without credits, really short, and it really sort of hampers the development for this movie. And without spoiling things, I thought the movie sort of ended the whole main conflict on sort of a whimper. And in terms of the editing, you can tell that this movie was edited a whole bunch. I mean, really what I noticed is a lot of stuff at the beginning and a lot of stuff at the end, especially stuff involving Superman. You could tell that there was a lot of studio interference. So that's unfortunate that it held this thing back and this movie sort of dropped the ball on, like I said, the villain and sort of development and sort of the runtime was an issue, not in the way that you would usually expect from a movie. But like I said, the main thing that a Justice League movie for me had to hit on was, okay, the team. Can you at least deliver on the team? And I thought this movie did a really good job on that aspect with the characters, the banter, the teaming up. I thought the action was pretty good in a lot of parts and lots of good crowd-pleasing moments. The audience was definitely into this movie. The humor was working. I thought really well, worked for me really well and worked for the audience. And like I said, overall, I thought the movie ended up being okay. I don't think it's a great movie, hardly one of the best comic book films of all time, even though I do think there were some really enjoyable parts in it. I'm going to end up giving the movie a 7 out of 10. It's in that 7 out of 10, 6.5 range for me, but honestly, coming out, I thought, you know what, that was actually pretty enjoyable, even despite some major issues, which there are. If someone were to ask me, would I recommend them seeing the movie, I would say, you know what, from what I saw, it was all right. So, yeah, you know what, I'm going really back and forth between those ratings, a 6.5 or a 7, so maybe just split the difference. It's right in that range for me. It's okay. It's okay. Actually, more so on the enjoyable side for me. In terms of ranking these DC's extended universe movies, the best one is clearly Wonder Woman. Then I would actually go this movie, then Justice League, then Batman vs. Superman, then Suicide Squad. Those are my ratings. So second best DC movie for me for what that's worth. And at the time I'm recording this video, I can actually comment on the box office for this movie. Not all that good. Right now it's projected to make under 100 million is the last report I saw. But if that ends up being true, oh my God, then this whole universe has sort of been a big failure for a Justice League movie to come in under 100 million. So that's kind of disappointing for the studio anyway. Not for me. I'm not making any money, so whatever. And one final thing I'll comment on is that the post-credit scenes. This movie has one of the best post-credit scenes I've ever seen in terms of something that really sets up future films and something that's actually worth waiting for. I was really surprised with what they did with the end credit scene of this movie. So definitely stay for that. And like I said, overall thoughts on Justice League, I think it's watchable. And if someone would say, hey, would I recommend watching it? I'd say, you know what, if you see it, I think you'll find a lot to enjoy about it. Not perfect by any means, but it's okay. So anyway, those are my thoughts on Justice League. I hope y'all enjoyed this review. Leave your comments and tell me what you thought about the movie if you've seen it. And I will see y'all around with another video.